1, 2, 3, then you start. 1, 2, 3. Now, this morning, I made a mistake in my tweet. I estimate at around about 2:20. So Rajiv was driving from here, going to Munyonyo. Let me give you a background. Rajiv came from London specifically to attend the wedding of somebody called Jonathan Gutierrez. But he's a very close friend of his, but also his business partner. His wedding today. In fact, the church event has already ended. The reception has been ended. So Rajiv came to Uganda specifically to attend this wedding of his friend, and he was going to be among the groomsmen, and he was supposed to give a speech at that wedding. So at around 1:30 or after 1:30, he left from here to go to Munyonyo, spend the night there, so that in the morning he can drive in the groom's convoy from Munyonyo to All Saints Church. The wedding is in Munyonyo. The groom is also staying in the Munyonyo Commonwealth Resort. Speak, Commonwealth Resort Munyonyo. That's where the groom is staying. Rajiv was going to stay there with him. They drove together in the morning because the wedding was at 11 a.m. So he left this place, let's say after 1:30, at around about 2:20, and he went to the Northern Bypass, went to Expressway to Kajansi. Then from Kajansi, he was driving. He had reached a place called Usaba on the way to Munyonyo. They had put barriers in the road, these heavy concrete barriers. He was driving a GTR, Nissan sports car, very fast, and I think it uses fuel akin to jet fuel. So it was at very high speed. He had not been to Uganda in the last so many weeks, so he did not know the presence of those barriers. So he came at full speed, maybe 2:20, 2:15 a.m. and hit the barriers at very high speed. The car overturned and flew upside down and crashed down and in a ball of fire. So the car was completely burnt and his body was burnt beyond recognition. Interestingly, because it was near Munyonyo and his friend who wedded today, he was informed, he was the first person on site, Jonathan Gutierrez Bahisi. He was the first person on site. I think the second person is his friend Ronald. Ronnie arrived there second. So Ronnie, I think, called Bongo. Bongo is Sudir's handler. Bongo called me. I drove in the morning. We organized two things: an ambulance and a doctor. Because to break the news to Dr. Sudir, who has had problems, we are afraid pressure problems, it could cause him a problem. So also the third person to arrive after me was my grandson here, Lawrence Muganga. He's the vice chancellor of Makerere University. Hired specifically, by the way, I think identified, headhunted, and finally hired by Rajiv himself. So that is what happened. So we come here, Bomb and I go to Sudir's bedroom, wake him up and inform him of what has happened. Jason was already praying. She was in another room praying. We go and also break her the news. This was at exactly Sudir at around about 3:50. Jason at about 7 minutes past 4. Yes. And that's so he came from here. He came to Uganda on Wednesday. So he was here on Thursday. In fact, on Thursday he had lunch with his dad at the office. Last night he had dinner with his mother at Izumi. They must have left Izumi around 9:30, 10. Because Sudir says he called him at 10:30 saying, Uganda, because when he dropped the mother here, the mother said, he asked the mother, can you go out? The mother said, no, I want to rest. So he called the father and said, Dad, can you come and join me out and have a drink? The father said, no, I am also tired. I've been at the function, so I'm now tired. So he went and hung out with his friends, went to friends' homes. If you talk to many people here, he went to one of the friends' homes. From there, he went to the club. From the club, he came here, picked the car, and was going to sleep in Munyonyo so that he can accompany his friend to the church wedding. And unfortunately, fate had other plans. Rajiv had a driver, but Rajiv is also a motor rally driver. Do you guys know that?
Yeah.
He drives sports cars. The car he was driving is a Nissan GTR. It's a sports car, one of the fastest cars in the world. So if he's driving that, when you are a sports driver, you are driving a sports car, you don't call a driver because you enjoy the thrill of driving. And because he's a Motorola driver, driving a sports car, in the night when there are no cars on the road, he was doing his thing. He was trying to, the car had been refurbished 100%. So he was testing his speed, so he was driving at a very, very fast speed. I suspect maybe above 200 kilometers per hour. Remember, at 2 a.m., you don't have vehicles on the road. And on the expressway, because you don't have incoming traffic, because it's what they call a dual carriageway, he could unleash the full power of the vehicle. And I think that full, because if you see what happened on the accident, when he hit the barriers, he scattered them with, actually the car broke them out and threw them out off. If anyone was driving behind him, they would have passed through easily. And then the car, upon impact, had to turn upside down. The fuel it uses is highly flammable. It's like a jet engine, so the car burst into flames. Both the car and him were completely burned. The car ashes him to beyond recognition. So